Hi, and welcome to another episode of Copy That. Today, I am with my buddy Chaz Rodgers, writer, producer. You still have comedian on your resume?
Yeah.
Yeah, comedian.
Yeah, I do all those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So today we're just gonna chat like we always do, kick it, talk some things about the industry as we're sipping our rooibos tea.
Rooibos.
Rooibos.
Rooibos
It's
tea.
It's R.
It has a lot of vowels for some reason.
IB
R
rooibos.
O O I B O O. I don't know who.
It's tea. It's red. It's from South Africa.
It's a South African red bush tea.
Red. No rolling the R.
I'm pretty sure they roll the R in South Africa.
I've been to South Africa.
No R rolling?
I don't think so.
No?
No, not that I recall.
Gotta be somebody who rolls
No.
random R's.
And they probably say rooibos.
Rooibos tea. No, it's like when I feel like I'm selling it. It's like one of the healthiest teas you can have. It hydrates you. It's a stress reliever. I forgot there's something in there. I forgot what it's called, but it fights cortisol, which cortisol is a stress hormone.
Yeah, I have a lot of that.
Yeah, right. So it's like a natural. It fights. I forgot what the actual scientific term is in the tea, but it fights stress. So it's always, I use it before I go to sleep. They're like people like give it to their babies so babies will sleep. It's like drugging your kid without the.
It's like Robitussin without the.
Yeah,
okay. Good to know.
Yeah,
good to know. I've had it before and I didn't know all of that.
Yeah,
it's just a good tasting.
I'll make it in like into a smoothie and such. Yeah,
a smoothie.
Yeah, I'll make it and then like use it the next day, and I'll make a whole red smoothie tea thing out of it.
Different.
Yeah,
okay. All right, Chaz.
I'm eclectic.
Eclectic.
That's about as classy as I get. Like people ask me, like, "Oh, it's a tea." It's like, what else do you do? It's like, watch sports and games.
Is this the only tea that you usually, or you?
Usually, I usually do like green tea, and then like it's. Like I'll fast during the day, right? So then, like green tea would hurt my stomach for some reason. I don't know what green tea does.
It has a lot of caffeine.
But I can drink coffee without food. But green tea made me sick, and so
coffee hurts my stomach without food.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, I'm made for it. And then like black tea was just whatever, So
yeah,
it just became the perfect.
It does give you a bit of culture.
Yeah, I feel classy when I have people go, "Oh, rooibos, what is South African teas?" Actually, and I give them that. Fact, right? And
I love it.
Oh.
Yeah, learned something today. Well, we can go home based off that. No. Thank you for your time.
Take my tea and leave.
Right.
This is really good, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal this box. Can I steal that box? Do you need it for others?
No, nobody else requested it.
Yes.
You can probably take that.
This is what I do on sets. I come on set and I steal.
Steal food.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great segue, though. I like that you did.
Oh, man.
The best part of being on set is...
stealing. I take everything.
Everything?
Crafty. I stole stuff from wardrobe. I steal stuff from props. Like,
and by steal, you mean?
I put in my car secretly so nobody knows that I have it. I take it. I have all kind of stuff I don't need.
I'm pretty sure, like, being the person who works in the production office, a lot of times we're trying to get rid of stuff that's not an asset anyway. So you probably could have just taken it.
Probably. I don't want to go ask somebody for it.
Be like, hey, do y'all need this? No, take it.
No, that takes all the fun out of it.
You need that adventure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I need to know, like, the studio might never hire me again.
So you're taking, like, what type? We'll talk offline.
When I say everything,
oh my God.
I'll take everything. And then it fit in my car.
Oh my gosh!
I'm taking it.
I gotta go see. Like,
don't hire me on your. I'm taking it all.
Was it like a storage closet of
junk? I got a bunch of crap.
That's hilarious.
I got a bunch of crap. I do. But you look at it, you go like, oh, because like people they'll decorate their stuff for sets, and then there's some things I said. I'm taking a wardrobe I can't fit. This is a medium. What am I gonna do with this? It's in my closet.
Just in your closet?
Yep.
Nothing that's of value.
Hey, I can't wear that.
At least give it to Goodwill.
I'd bust out of every seam it has. It's
I hate you
exploding.
So much.
I got it, though.
Oh, my gosh. So we're talking to people today, basically, who never or who wants to get in the industry, who might already have started, might be at the PA level. And we just
tough gig.
Tough gig.
Yeah.
And we just want to, like... Actually, recently I spoke to somebody who was like, I want to be a writer, but I don't even know how to start. I was like, I know some people.
Yeah.
I know some people. And just so today we want to kind of delve into the conversation.
Is there a specific question about writing? Because there's really big answers,
there's
you know?
Big answers, and I think there's like ways to get into it. I think first and foremost, kind of like, how did you like get into that space? So everybody has a different journey,
yeah. So doing stand up, I started stand up back in like Michigan, 2004. I was 18. So then when I moved to LA, I never thought about it as a career. I didn't know that people hired comedians to write. You know, I didn't know how to write. So I think I had a dude. He gave me this book called The Screenwriter's Bible by David Trotter, I think is his name. And then that taught me how to actually like write a script. Because now, I mean, this is also 2006. So there's a lot more information and the things to find on like actual writing and then getting final draft. And I started with sketches. Sketches was like the best way to tell a story. I was like, can you tell this story in 3 to 5 pages, a beginning, middle? It was really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And people complicate everything. And I always say now that writers write too much. And it was like, can you tell this whole story in 3 to 5 pages? And so writing sketches, writing shorts, anything like that, 3 to 5 minutes was the easiest way that I learned to tell a story. Because you want to get really good at storytelling. It's way more than just, you know, when I started writing, I thought it was just about jokes and being funny. And it was way more about having a point and having a story and what these things mean. And, you know, now there's like, you know, there's different methods I do, from writing a sketch to writing a joke to writing a movie to writing TV. They all mean something different, but they're all very unique, but same basis. It's like, what story are you telling? What's the core of your story? What's the journey that these cats are going through? And then like, is there a lesson, you know, in there? So you try to make it mean something.
I feel like you made that more like palatable. Like, I feel like a lot of times people get really abstract, like, like when it comes to writing, like when it's like, so you have to like search the characters, or start with the anti-dynamo, and then we go into the
I don't even know what that means. That's a word? Dynamo?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's kind of just like,
taught me something right here.
Don't make me define it, Chaz. But just kind of like,
I've never heard
where
of
did the character start? It's a fancy way, basically saying like, where's the character starting? Like, what is their starting point, and how do they grow to that point? But I feel like a lot of times when you talk about writing, it's more abstract, and I think you just gave us a easier breakdown.
I'm a dummy, okay? So, like, I don't do hard stuff,
You're
right?
like one of the smarter people I know in life.
I appreciate that. I have to simplify things because I go like, nah, it shouldn't be this hard. Nothing should be this hard. But, like, I can understand this idea of, you know, your story. When you're talking about movies, your character is the story, right? Way more about the concept. Concept doesn't really matter. You can Harry Potter and Star Wars, a lot of the, you know, same unique stuff, right? We hear about the hero's journey. There's a book called A Hero of a Thousand Faces when they talk about that, you know, like a lot of those things are interchangeable. So for me, I go, what's compelling? I just think about compelling. It's like, is this character who's trying to do this, and what's stopping them? It's really it.
Yeah.
As much as far as I think about what my story will be. Okay. What is this person trying to do? I'll give you an example, right? Like, I'm trying to build a graphic novel. It's about a dude who, and right now it's about my biggest fear. My biggest fear in my life is losing my daughter to human trafficking, right? So taken.
You have anxiety?
I don't have anxiety about it, but like, I'm up really late and I check my doors often, right?
I'm saying, like, that's kind of an anxious mind, like.
Yeah.
I am too. That's why I identify.
Yeah, that's my greatest fear in the world, right? That she's gone, and like, taken, he has the skill set, right? Specific set. I don't have those specific set of skills to get her back, right? Like, when she's so for me, I go like, so in this story, the guy, he joins a and he was a therapist before, okay? So now he's a regular dude who lost his daughter. He's like, I have no idea how to find these people in this world. So he joins a group of human traffickers in order to find his daughter. So he's helping the system trying to find his daughter, right? Very Django in that world also. Okay, so he finds a little girl who has psychic abilities. This is when everything goes weird, okay? She has psychic abilities, full on like 11 from Stranger Things powers, and she realizes that he's not one of the bad guys. He's why he's there, so they team up, and now they go around the world tearing down human trafficking networks.
I love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so very much Taken meets Stranger Things
Right.
in that sense, right? So for this character, I go like, there's a background of why he's a therapist. There's a background of his biggest fears. There's a background of all these other things. Sure, right? And my only thing is like, here's this guy. The worst thing ever happened to him. He's so inept on how to. So you see that in the story. How does he even find a human trafficker? Like, how does he get into this world, right? And what stops him is everything, because it's like, how much do you want this person to grow?
Right.
So books and movies kind of works in the same realm. Where like, so then it's like, end goal. I always start with the ending.
Okay.
I know how I want my situation to end before I even begin writing a beginning. Right, because people have ideas and they have these cool concepts, which are great.
Right.
And people are like, yo, man, here's the story, and I go like, well, what is your? But that's why people get stuck. It's because they don't know their character journey.
Stop talking about me. Okay, continue.
This is why writers get stuck. Writers get stuck because they don't know their main character's journey well enough. They don't know who their character is well enough, and they get stuck trying to write something that they don't fully understand. They don't fully know. So there is a lot of work on that character, but it's also like goals, and it's why they say write what you know. You know
that's what I
mean?
was gonna say. Like, it sounds like from you writing from a space of something that's a concern to you, that you're able to like speak to it, give it a little bit more.
Yeah, like you do yourself a disservice. I'm not gonna go. There's a lot of research. Like I said, I do easy stuff. I'm not gonna go. I don't play badminton. Right. I don't play cricket. I'm not gonna go give you this.
Story about a cricket player?
No. What? I was like, you know how much work I gotta do in order to do that?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. Right. I go like, that's a big thing, but it's like, what are the desires? What would a guy go through to get his daughter back or his child back? I tell you what I would like to go through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So then it's just plotting that. But I go like, let me start from my end, and then I know how to get there. I go like, I know where I want to be. I know where I'm at. What are my plot points? And then it's just problems.
Yeah.
You just wrote it. Personal problems. Exterior problems, and it's exactly what we go through. As people, I go like, by this day, I got to get this deadline done, right? Oh, my wife is in a car accident. It's like, okay, let me go handle this. You're all good, great. It's like there's a problem.
That
always, always, and then you go, what's most fun? What's compelling? What's gonna get the most? What tears your character apart?
Right.
What sucks is people hate this. Like, you'll create a character, and your whole job is to torture that character.
That is.
It's sitcom. I'm a huge fan of Married with Children. One of my favorite. Al Bundy, one of my favorite characters ever. You just torture Al Bundy for a half hour.
And
we love it.
You're like a professor of writing over here. You didn't even know it.
It's because I do dumb, easy stuff. Though I go like, well, this is fun, and but it's like, people struggle movie wise because they have a hard time getting to 90 pages.
Right.
It seems like a lot when you start from blank.
But if you're keeping your character from achieving the thing that they want in this moment.
Sure.
Consistently.
But
the next goal to the next goal.
For the next goal to the next goal. Yeah. It's like and it's like also what's you use some things in the past. This is why you should know your character and what they'll go through. I think I read this thing about writer's block, right? It said like writer block happens when the writer cares more about the end project, the end goal, than the actual process of writing. Right. When you're thinking more about I can't get to the end. It seems daunting. It's a big task, right? And so you'll get stuck. And then it's anxiety and all these other things that come up. And it's like, I don't think there is such thing as writer's block. I think you spend time with these characters, and sometimes you have to write mini stories. And sometimes you have to write background stories. And everything is just figuring out what your character would do on the day-to-day. So you do spend a lot of time with your characters for sure. The more, the bigger the task is, you do have to have a backstory with them. And that's part of the process. I'm like, you can't have writer's block. Right. It's impossible.
So for people who want to be writers, who might right now be struggling, like they want to be writers, they might not be in LA just yet, or they're planning to move out to LA. They might have encountered writer's block, or they don't know like quite where to start. I think a good point is like you should always be writing. Like you should start. You don't have to be in LA to write.
Definitely don't. There's a great comedian named Hugh Moore, and Hugh Moore writes on a ton of. He's wrote on like Black Dynamite. He's on Marlin show. He's wrote on a ton of shows. He's always working. And Hugh told me 3 things. He said, read every day, write every day, and finish things. And when he said finish things, oh my God, I was like, hey, bro, I need you not to ever repeat such slanderous words in my ears. That hurt.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, how much stuff do I have that's unfinished?
Yeah.
Ooh, a ton.
So, and to just imagine that, like, whenever you're ready to move out to LA to come out with, you're already kind of ahead of the curve if you're saying I have finished scripts. Like
Absolutely.
I have an idea. But
Yeah.
so like somebody comes out and is like, I have a script. I'm going to sell my script.
Yeah.
I mean, which is great if you could sell your script right off, but it's
Yeah,
also like,
wonderful.
yeah, there's also sometimes a process that you have to go through, which
Yeah.
might be like, for example, somebody might want to be a television writer or a sitcom writer. Like, first of all, like, where would you tell them to, in your opinion, where should you start, or what worked for you?
This answer's gonna suck.
Okay.
You got to do everything. All right.
Yeah.
Like, his answer sucks because it's very vague, and I'll get specific. Right.
Okay.
You got to do everything. So when I first wanted to learn how to write, there's a library in Los Angeles called the Writers Guild.
Yes,
it's off
I
of
love
like
that.
Third
Yeah.
and Fairfax, and then
Yep.
you can read every single script in there. And I used to go in there and I sit in there every single day. I go to work and I come back, and you can't read anything out of there, but you can sit and read. And this is back in the day when I had like the flip phone and I would take pictures. You can't take pictures anymore
got
of the
you.
work, right? But you can go up there and you can study,
Yeah.
and you can study script formatting. And then I would watch TV. So I think I did like I would read I Love Lucy, Seinfeld's King of Queens. Like I sat in there and I read a lot. So the first speculation script is pretty much a script that you write based on a show. So right now, a hot one would be Abbott Elementary. I'm sure there's a ton of spec scripts on Abbott Elementary. You write your own version. You can go online and find a script. I found Abbott Elementary script on Twitter. You can just search. It's not that hard to find these scripts out there. And so then you can see exactly, how their structure is, right? They do a 3-act structure, which makes sense because they're on ABC, right? I know this from reading it, right? And so then you watch the show and you watch a season and you watch it 3 or 4 times. And I used to like write how many minutes are in the act break, and I would write how many jokes come per minute and how many per scene, and I would just see how long is a scene, and I would really break down a script, especially for King of Queens. That was like right up my alley.
Okay.
Right. So then when I got hired on my first show on Family Time from Billy Kyle Evans, appreciate you, bro. I think, or maybe In the Cut was my first one. I just watched the show. I had to like watch it a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I just watched every season. I think I watched every season 3 or 4 times. I was just like, let me
Really doing your homework.
really do your homework, because these jobs don't come up often,
Right.
and I'm not gonna not be good at my job because of lack of work. When I'll go spend 8 hours doing some bullshit I don't want to do anyways,
Right.
but you won't spend time doing
what you want to do.
makes no sense.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Right.
People go work 8 hours doing some shit they hate and then want off time when they get home. I never understood that.
Yeah.
I never understood
Yeah.
that.
When
You
you
just
could be
gave them
working
8
for-
hours, but not yourself?
Yeah.
Nah, you gotta go clock in for you, bro.
That's very real. Because
Yeah.
like I think we were saying before this, I know you would get back to it. You said you have to do everything. So you
Yeah.
were reading and studying scripts, but then you were working an 8-hour.
Yeah, you
job. So
working
it's
regular
just like,
job. I wasn't
yeah.
in a Hollywood business job. You can get a PA job, great,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you get anywhere in those things, great, but you still got to go clock in for you at the end of the day.
Right. Right.
And so and then more so than anything, Hollywood's really that whole who you know thing is right. That's a real thing,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily who you know; it's who you can connect with, like who you can have a relationship with, who likes you. Because in a writer's room, you spend 10, 12 hours with the same people. 5 days a week.
Right.
So we want to know that you're not annoying, that you're not nuts,
Yeah.
and that we can get along. We can sit with you for. That's way more about that than like, are you really great at being? There's a lot of average ass writers who make a lot of money.
It's just great to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get hired for being cool.
Okay.
Can you be on time and can you be cool?
Yeah.
That's a huge
Yeah.
deal.
That's good to know.
That's like
Yeah.
if you're like one of these people who are like, oh, this got to be done. It's like this person's high strung. I don't know if I want. Or you might get a different job. You make a great writer's assistant, high strung person, right?
Yeah.
You need
writer's
there's people like you,
assistants,
yeah.
Script supervisor.
Yeah. We need high strung people.
Yeah.
It's like it's not in a room though. I can't have that.
Right.
So, there's that. It's like online now. It's a really good time to build a communities of writers. Like you can make your own. This is big. Having your own writers group is a really big deal that you guys dedicate and you meet with, once a week. Like
Writers groups are so important.
100%, very much
Yeah.
so, very much
Because
so.
that I think with a writers group you also have an accountability. If you have problems like keeping deadlines or anything like that, if you have you said you turning in 10 pages,
Right.
this next turnaround, then you're
Yeah.
gonna be more
And also like you have to learn to receive notes without fighting back everybody because I don't know what's up with writers, but cats will have this vision like, no, this is how it's supposed to be. And it's like, nah, you don't know how wrong you are as a writer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially if somebody's giving you a network note, you don't have to agree on the note. But I go like, it's a good practice to learn to incorporate the note with somebody who's going to pay you a bunch of money. Like, without putting your feelings in there.
The network gave notes for a reason.
Yeah, they're like, all network notes suck. Nobody likes.
Nobody wants to,
some are you go like, oh, okay, but no one like, and then it's insulting in their suits. They don't know if they could do it, they do it, right?
Yeah.
But,
and it's not always from a creative standpoint.
No.
It's from sponsors and agendas and
sure. There's 1,000 reasons. You just go like, all right, how do we make it work? I want to work with this person who's paying me this money, right? It's like, that's it. It's like, if your supervisor came and said you're doing something wrong, you'd adjust because you don't want to get fired. It's like, yes, it's a good reason to adjust. Like, people are I take it so personal. It's like, it's not that.
What is the writer's room like? Like, what's it like for you to be?
It's a good time.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I'm going to say this for somebody who works in production down the hall from the writers a lot of times. Yeah. There's just like this large, like loud, hearty laughter coming from the room, and sometimes I'm like, man, I want to be in there.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what are they laughing about?
It's a free place. I mean, some writer rooms can be mean. You know what I mean? And like, I was very lucky to have Bentley Evans, who showed me a healthy. And there's light competition. You know what I mean? But for me, it wasn't any different than doing stand up or like. Yeah, joking with your friends and stuff like that. Like, I laugh off everything. So it's really, I'm a hard person to rattle, but it's easy to rattle some people. But it's like, you can't take things personally, especially in the comedy writers room. Like, you got to have some tough skin. You just got to have tough skin. And it's way more about learning than proving yourself.
Right.
Like, people want to go in, they want to prove that they're funny, they want to prove this, and it's like, no, man, get in there, learn, listen, and like take full advantage and be yourself, be 100%. That hires you for your voice and for your that. So it's like, go give that thing. Don't be shy about being yourself and giving 100% of your personality and who you are. That's what they're paying you for.
Right.
So you can't be shy in there.
So with that, like, were there any lessons that you wish you knew before you got into the writer's room?
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah.
Speak on them. Yeah.
I wish I knew that. And I was a new writer at the time also, but being funny wasn't the most important thing in a writer's room. It was learning how to tell a story, breaking story. I wish I knew that before. I was all about trying to make these jokes. So when I turned in a script, this was hard, man. I turned in a script that they had to tear up from page 1. And that was painful.
Yeah.
It was a painful 2 days.
But you learned.
Oh, it never happened again. I was like, great, let me go learn to take these act breaks seriously. Yeah. Let me learn to do a beat sheet seriously. Yeah. I'm very extensive. My outlines are usually about a third of what I want my project to be. So if I'm doing 30 pages, my outline is going to be 10. If I'm doing a 90-page movie, my outline would be 30 pages. Yeah. It would be, people are like, oh, it's a lot. I'm like, it's a lot for a reason. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then it's also, the bigger my outline is, the less I actually have to write, which I like.
Right. You're doing the work up front.
As 100%.
So you said breaking a script. A lot of people might not know what that is. Yeah, so like breaking a story more so. So it's like, if we're doing a sitcom, we can do a 3-act structure, a 2-act structure, and it's pretty much just knowing like what your story is. Here's your A story, here's your B story. What are the beats of these stories? What are these people going through? More so, how does it affect each person? And like I say this a lot with like characters, like in a sitcom, characters don't change. In movies, a character is supposed to change by the end of it. In TV, they stay the same, right? So we want our characters to be super flawed in TV. Okay. And we want them to get on each other's nerves, right? They should be almost at each other's throat all the time. Then they kind of like make it up by the end or whatever that is, right? And so, by 30 pages or so, you want to show these people have a problem. Here's the tensest part. That's our act break. This part's tense. Here's how we try to fix it. We mess it up again, right? And then now here's our resolve, right? That's pretty. And so then just breaking that down into your scenes and beats, that's kind of like breaking your story. Yeah. And then from there, you would take that, get some notes, and then you write your first draft. Okay. Right. Yeah. So it's an easy enough process. It's writing. It just takes time. Right. Which is very frustrating. It seemed like you kind of learned that. You learned most of it as you were doing it, so, which is like you don't have to know everything.
I was very fortunate.
Yeah.
Right. I was very fortunate to have somebody who was willing to teach and who just thought I was funny. Right. Because he was like, well, at the very least, he can add jokes.
Right.
But I really wanted to understand, because, doing writing and then understanding the business and the aspect and the story, it was the storytelling that I didn't understand of how much your character matters and what they're going through and how they make a situation worse. Like, that's what I didn't understand about it. I thought you just made things happen.
Right.
And it's like, no, dude, can you catch these emotional beats? Can you see the... So now when I do a draft, I'll do a pass. There's an emotional... Like, there's a story pass. Does the story make sense, right? Does this... Okay, these beats make sense. Great. Here's the emotional moments, right? Do we get all the emotional parts? Does that make sense? Great. Everybody has an arc. Does everything filled? Great. Now we do the jokes. I do the jokes last now. Doesn't even matter. I go like, if your story's trash and your scenes aren't right and it doesn't make sense, it doesn't matter. Everything's structurally off. Right. So it's like structure, emotion, then the jokes are decorations. Otherwise, it can be a drama.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like that. My story doesn't change.
Right.
Right. I go and add jokes.
So, well, what we didn't talk about is that you're from Lansing, Michigan.
Yes.
So coming out here, did you know anybody who's been on a similar work path or...
No, I moved out here in a van, and I lived in this van, and I just grinded and did stand-up and work jobs, and you just meet people. The good thing about being in the city...
You just said, I lived in the van and kept going. How long was that?
A few months.
Okay.
3 or 4 months, and then my van got towed, and then some very nice people helped me over the course of, who knows, years. There's been years that I was, like, up and down, and you get help, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't get to a certain place by yourself. You really don't.
Right.
Right. You need a bunch of caring, loving people. I wish I had a list of everybody who's helped me.
Man. Man. Yeah.
There's people that you meet, but man, there was a time when I was working this job down in Hollywood, and I remember when like people knew something was wrong and I had no place. And I felt like a charity case, but people would bring me food. They'd be like, hey, we had this, we bought that. Like, they were really, really, a homie brought, like, let me stay with them. You know what I mean? With, like, nothing. And this is, like, even by the time that I think me and Tony Baker became roommates, and that was 2012-ish, I had already struggled for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, by the time anything started getting a little better, it was still, like, you're just, like, really tough. Sometimes it's really tough, Yeah. But I always knew that, you keep working, keep working. I was like, have you done your best yet? Have you done your best yet? It's like, no.
Wow.
No, because of this, no, because of that. And I was like, we're going to get rid of all our excuses. What's our main excuse? I ain't got no money, right? Then I dedicated to working 2 jobs. I didn't do stand-up for like a year or 2. And I was like, I'm just going to make sure that money is never a problem again. And so then I just worked and worked, and I saved enough money, which I wish, for anybody out there, I wish I did that before I moved. I wish I saved a bunch of money, because LA is expensive and it eats all your bread. I wish I saved a bunch of money while I learned how to write at the same time, And I tell people also, man, like, you can take writing classes. I did one at UCLA. I did one of their extension programs. That's when I first learned to do a beat sheet. So more so than that is, like, the other people in the class, make them a writer's group. Yeah. It's like, hang on to these cats. And some people will continue, some won't.
Right.
It's like, you just got to, meet more people. You got to meet more people.
That's your network.
That's your network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you touched on, like, it being hard early, because I think that's a lot of our stories.
Yeah.
But we kind of just, like, sometimes just gloss over it.
Yeah.
And I think I want to be transparent to people who are, like, asking for advice, not to scare anyone, but to be like, learn from me, save a lot of money before you move out.
like not to a point where you hold yourself hostage if you don't make that move.
Right.
And I have a plan. Like I was 20 in a van. Like, I had 0 plan.
Yeah.
0.
You just knew you wanted to be out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll work it out.
I'm gonna get a job.
I'm young and talented.
Yeah. Like, literally, I think my plan was like, I'll move out to LA. I'm going to apply for a job. I'm going to be a rock star. They'll love me. Somehow Steven Spielberg is going to call me.
You couldn't tell me that me and Eddie Murphy weren't going to be in, like Nutty Professor 8 or something.
Yeah, so sometimes you just have to, you need to have a plan around these dreams.
And you can't be afraid to pivot. Like, there's a thing about, like, writing. I go, like, well, writing's not what I came for. I came out to be my own star. And but I just took it as a piece of my tool chest. I go, like, okay, great, you have a hammer in stand-up. Great, you got the comedy down. Ooh, you got a screwdriver now, right? And I go, like, oh, okay, now I can write. I can now, this sort of Christmas movie, I was like, oh, you can do movies, you can do TV, you can do sketch. I go, like, hey, you got quite the the tool belt here. You can go do something. I was like, you're becoming a that's why I was trying to get into the graphic novel. Was like, how many stories in different genres can you tell?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I want to be a great storyteller, which is still a part of my stand-up journey.
Yeah.
But it's crazy now because when I write jokes, it's a lot more emotion involved. It's a lot more storytelling. It's like it makes it better.
Yeah.
So learning that and being like, man, go learn a new tool. You don't stop.
Right.
Like you just add it and you keep going.
And I think I've been saying this past week, I think a lot of our introductions to this industry is through, like, for you it was stand up.
Yeah.
For me it was acting. Mm-hmm. So like coming out with more so, like, I went to film school as well, but it started off as me acting and then knowing, like, while I was getting casted in certain things, I wasn't getting casted for the roles I wanted to be casted in. And then also, like, when you looked at TV, especially during like early 2000s, it wasn't anyone who looked like me really doing the roles I wanted to do. Sure. So I was like, well, I got to be a writer. And then I started writing and I was like, well, I don't want anybody just to direct and produce my stuff. So I got to, yeah. And so that's kind of like, it just tripped me into this whole world. Yeah. And that kind of opened my creativity to so many things. And that's why I say, I've been saying, like, for some people I know, acting is the introduction. And this is the introduction. Not to say that you might not go back to that initial thing, but it's the thing that's going to help, that can help possibly launch.
Yeah. I learned this looking at rappers. I look at a rapper and they'll get like a major movie role, right? Well, I don't have any. But like once you're an expert somewhere else, it gives you a lot of access to anywhere else, right? Yeah. It's like once somebody goes like, hey, you've been successful here. We need your name and likeness to come be successful here. And it's like, that's great.
Right.
Aaron Sorkin's like one of the greatest writers like of all time, right? Like he can go do whatever he wanted. You gonna take Aaron Sorkin though?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Aaron Sorkin's like, yeah, I wrote a Bollywood movie. You gonna tell him no? Somebody's gonna buy it.
You kind of see that with Tyler Perry. We never think of Tyler Perry as an actor, right?
Right.
We think of him as the filmmaker, but then you see him pop up in.
Yeah, he's in the movies that aren't his.
Yeah, you're like,
he's in the Ninja Turtle movie. I'm like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Right. And then the foot soldiers were like 5'9" and he's 6'5". He's like, oh, I was like, just throw them off you, Tyler. Why are you? Yeah, but he sounds like Madea also, because he was like, ow, stop. Right. Well, you can't do that in a Ninja Turtle movie.
You can't turn it off, man.
No, sometimes it just comes out of him. Yeah, you can't help it.
Yeah, but it definitely, your gifts will make room for you. Your name will make room for you.
For sure.
Is there anything like that you tell people, like, like, who are like, hey, Chaz, I've been out here. It's hard. I think I'm gonna move back home. But, but still might really want to be in the industry, but just.
Yeah, I said, go.
This is what you tell them? Go. Because I feel like you were like, have you done everything?
I'm the guy, I go like, what else would I do? Can I imagine myself doing anything else? Yeah. Like, no. There's nothing on earth more than I want to do than to entertain. That's all I ever wanted to do. Right. Because I was young.
Yeah.
So I go like, well, have you tried your best? And then for me, I was like, no. So once you try your best, if you come up short and then you want to leave, then you can leave. But I have to give it my all. And for me, it was getting over my own self. It wasn't that this business is so hard or you're not talented. A lot of it was just my own immaturity and my own insecurities. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like my lack of planning was my lack of being unorganized still kills me. Right? That's still my biggest Achilles heels, that like I don't plan my day worth of nothing. I'll be like, well, I know I got to do this thing,
right?
And then it's like, well, you got these other things, and I go like, I'll handle that when I get like you're a very organized person. I wish I had that brain to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. I just go like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I did it. Then I go like, it was something else. I was supposed to do somewhere.
Just start with a Post-it and write what you're supposed to do.
Then I would lose the Post-its.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want my pack of Post-its go. Now I'm just buying Post-its every week.
With nothing written on them, just keep losing them.
Yeah, I just keep losing them. Then my daughter would go put them up everywhere. I'm like, here are my Post-its. So, like, I understand there are things for me to, like, it's about you. I'll go like, where am I lacking as a person? Where am I lacking as a businessman, right? I'm a businessman, right? Yeah. So I go like, do I understand the business? Do I understand money? Yeah. You know, I was like, these are things that I had to learn when you're 20, so that when you're 30, you're not just throwing the stuff away. And they even learn like network. Like I hate networking. I hate going outside, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't like doing any of that stuff at all. So, and I think that's one of the biggest things about doing stand-up. It was way more about having friends. Friends booked you way more than bookers did, unless you were just that guy.
Yeah.
You know, which I wasn't that guy.
Right.
I was a guy who wanted to be on.
So friends would be like,
yeah, come work. I got booked way more from the homies ever than any other, right? And then a comedy club booker. Only one club ever booked me because of like, hey, we think you're funny.
Right.
Any other show I ever got was because of people, other comedians. It's like your network.
So your network, and then so I guess to keep your network there and to like have people remember you exist and things like that. You gotta go out.
You gotta go out and you gotta be social. I mean, it's a very social business, but like it's still to this day, like I get hired from my friends.
Yeah.
I get hired from people who know me.
Speak your name in rooms and
like very rarely is, I have an agent and a manager. I can tell you one got me one job that I still had to write. Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like I got hired on to do something. It was like, oh, you write it, we can sell it. I have this person. And it was and that's the other thing. Is like, yeah, man, how many dots can you connect in this business?
Right.
Like, I'm a dot connector. I go like, okay, I know this person. But as you go on, you grow in who you know, right?
Right.
And so then the level of people that you work with change. So things get easier, but it's still very hard.
Right.
It's very hard to sell a movie. It's very hard to sell a TV show, especially nowadays. It's very hard to do other stuff. What makes more sense is doing more independent stuff, right? Because there's so many networks who need stuff.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to get something on when it's done than it is like people shoot their own pilots, and I go like, one's not enough anymore. It's not enough to shoot one pilot. You have to shoot a series. Series gets on. You have to shoot your own movie, like those things.
Yeah.
Like it's really, you got to do.
It's a lot more, but luckily I feel like it's also a lot more accessible. Like you can.
It's easier to shoot a movie nowadays, to do a podcast like here, to get people together, and it's hard to do it all by yourself. Like you find like-minded people who are willing to, and that's the good thing about being in LA is that there are a lot of flakers,
right?
But there's also a lot of hardworking, dedicated people.
And that's what I would say, because I had a professor who was always like, you can write anywhere. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be in, you don't have to go to Los Angeles to create a movie. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I've learned is that's true. I don't have to be in LA. I can create anywhere. But in LA is more a place, or certain cities that you're going to actually meet people who want to do that short film with you over the weekend.
For sure.
Who want to shoot sketches with
you.
you.
There are editors here.
Yeah.
There are people who are like, I want a project to edit.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
We're all in this centralized location.
There's people who go, oh, I'll shoot that for free. I need to build something. There are people who will act for free. There are people who will write for free, right?
Yeah.
Like there are people who are just willing to get down and make something dope.
Yeah.
And that's way more important than like people spend they want to make a bunch of money, and it's like you got to make good work. Like go make good work.
Right.
And that's what separates a lot of people. It's like I'm willing to do more for less for longer, right?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Sure, it's unfortunate, but I'm more than willing to do it for less, for longer, and better than most people. And that's why I get to work more than most people. It's 100% because I can rely on. That's what one thing Bent calls me. He'll be like, "You're reliable."
Right.
He don't say I'm great, right?
He's never said I'm great.
He's never said you're great. Ben be like, you're funny. Ben says you're funny and you're reliable. That's enough to work forever.
That'll keep you eating. Yeah.
Yes. But people make it like it's this there's a dude in the room you'll need who can pick out commas and punctuations, and you need that guy.
Right.
You can be a stickler. Sticklers work.
Yeah.
Eventually you need actually we had that's a repeat of scene, 102, scene C.
Right. Yeah.
You need that dude in there. It's like once you find an expertise in whatever your thing is, I was like, you can work and just be a unreliable, funny dude.
Just like be good at being you, or that thing that you bring to the table, be great at that.
And then there's a 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And there's an aspect of letting everybody know that you're available. I'm always available for work.
Yeah.
I'm never busy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Chaz, aren't you working on something? Yeah.
But you're available?
You're my night job. Absolutely. I worked 2 jobs for a long time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm too busy to do 8 hours?
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
Never.
That's dope.
I got 16 for you. Right?
got 24 of you.
Yeah, what do you need? Which we've done. I've done 20. We were on set once for 20 hours. I got you.
Oh, man, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there, yeah.
No complaint. Well, I saw MC Light do it, not complain one time.
Really? It's the pros. They'll show you how it's done.
I said, hey, man, everybody else shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can I swear on here? Everybody shut the fuck up. You'll bleep it. You guys will get it, right? They'll bleep it. But I go like, yeah, man, that's a thing you see where people who are, somebody like her who's been on top of her field, transitioning into acting, producing. Light did a whole director's program. She did an internship.
Wow.
I said, you're MC
Do
Light.
you know who you are?
She's like, I know. She's like, you gotta work. You gotta go from the ground floor. She's still very New York.
Wow.
For her, she's still like, she's like, for me, every day is still walking through the streets, going through each borough, like ripping mics. She was like, I have that same mentality of like, I gotta do this. There's only one way to do it. One put foot in front of you. You learn that stuff from like working. I'm like, I'm here thinking like I'm tired. You're like, yeah, you don't understand. Like, you don't know tired.
Or also, I love that because people get to certain levels and it's just like, well, I shouldn't have to do this anymore. But if she's willing to be
hungry.
an intern,
work from the bottom up. Now, granted, once she's done that, it's going to be easier to get stuff. Right.
But she's also working on her craft. Like,
100%.
So what makes you think?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And people want it like really easy. I'm like, it's not easy. The higher levels you go, it's still hard. Right.
Yeah.
It's still hard. Certain aspects get easier, but it's still difficult.
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's a lot of people who love to trade places with me, right? And then I would love to trade places with a lot of people. Right.
Yeah.
So you're always very thankful, and you're always, I got so much gratitude and thankfulness and where I'm at and where I see myself and the people that I get to work with, right?
Yeah.
You go like, and at the same time, it's like you're assembling your own team, family that you'll grow and build. Because for people who want to move out to LA, it's very lonely in the beginning. And it didn't get easier for me until I made some friends, like some real friends, which took me some years.
A while.
Yeah.
I said, I cycle friends out. Like, I came out here with one set of friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think most of them moved away. So I had to start off with another group of friends. And I think those people moved. And it's like my third cycle of friends that I just like, this is it. This is my.
It's tough.
Yeah. And it's tough. Luckily for me, I had my siblings came in like shortly after, maybe a few years after I moved in.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like they got a built-in group. But, like being that only person out there.
Yeah.
I
go like, man, if you're not willing to be homeless for it, don't do it. Like,
I wasn't willing to be homeless.
It's different. It's different for women for sure. There's a big safety factor that women have. But
what
some people go like,
not willing to do.
I'm like, man, you got to. Yeah, sometimes you gotta be at the very bottom.
But it almost got there. Let's not get that part twisted either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell people like I have a daughter now, right? So I was like, well, homeless now isn't an option for us.
Right.
For me, I had no problem living in a van and working.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Right now, with the way houses are, I prefer it.
Whew,
I would prefer it. Man, it's crazy. No matter how much money you make, the house is far away.
I have a script that I'm working on about people who work in the industry, and one of the characters lives in their van.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not unheard of.
I ate a lot of Vienna sausages. It was awful. I can't eat SpaghettiOs or ravioli to this day.
I bet.
I cannot.
How's your blood pressure?
It's good now.
Okay.
If you asked me 2010, it was awful.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, it was SpaghettiOs coming in and out right back the same. It was same process.
Oh, my goodness.
You have more writer questions? I like this.
You like the writer's questions?
If it makes it easier for people to understand some things, I think there's I definitely think simplifying writing is a thing, because you're right. It does like you will run into some people on some existential quests.
Yeah. Yeah, that was grad school for me. I'm like, wait, what? What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And just then getting stuck in your head. Like, once you learn all the rules and all the things that you're supposed to do, like, I think it's so easy to get stuck in your head about like, okay, so now I'm supposed to hit this plot point here and hit this on page whatever and this on page.
Yeah, I don't do that.
You don't?
No. Oh. Like when I was first learning, sure. now when I write, I just go like, what's compelling?
Mm-hmm.
What's a compelling story? And what are these, you know, and once again, it's just diving into that character. It's like, what is this person trying to do? And what's stopping them?
Yeah.
Why is it so important? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it like, what happens to this person? Those are the questions. Like, what happens to this person if it doesn't happen? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the consequences?
Yeah.
And what's the good of it? Like, those are the questions that make your story. And
I need a Chaz book on script writing. That's what we need.
It's really like I go like it's really simple. People go like, what's their birthday? Oh, who gives a fuck what their favorite color is?
Yeah.
You gotta know. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What's this person trying to do, and what's stopping them, and why is this deathly important? This is an hour and a half dedicated to this part in time, this person's life. So why is that deathly?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is life or death for this person.
Yeah.
It's like answer those questions. Like why is a great question to keep asking yourself as a writer. You know, and you can why? Because this happens to me and because they need this. But why is that important? Because when this person can do this, this opens up. But then what happens? Oh, this person, it is just those questions back and forth.
Chaz, if you don't write a book, I'm going to take all your wisdom and write it for you.
It's one of those things I go like, that's way too much work.
I'm going to be like, this is the Twilla method of writing.
If I could make a Writers for Dummies, that would be like 100%. I was like,
because it makes more sense. Like I definitely hit you.
You know what hits people more so is getting it done.
Yeah.
Most people just don't finish because it's hard and it's daunting, and you question yourself.
Yeah.
And then you go halfway through, you're like, this is dumb. I'm gonna change everything, right? Or a writer would be like, no, then I had this idea, and I'm like, no, you finish your first draft.
Yeah. That's
the most important thing.
And
first draft doesn't have to be good. It has to be done.
That's a word.
That's the biggest thing I learned.
Yeah.
Your first draft is supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
People try to make a masterpiece on what?
It's not going to be.
No, it's supposed to be really bad. You just have to get it done. The goal is to get that first draft done. Make it trash. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'll leave blanks. Like if I don't spend too long on one area, right? I'll be writing something. And I'll be like, I don't give a shit what this word is supposed to. Who cares?
I'll come back. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, let me go get my story down. I can always come back.
I hope you people are taking notes,
like
especially writers.
It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
I go make 120 pages of absolute crap.
Get it done.
And then I can't remember, I was watching Robert Townsend. He was like, you're not writing until you start rewriting. That's the real writing.
Yeah.
Once I learned that, I was like, oh, bro, you spent so much time trying to do something right the first. That's dumb. That's crazy. Yeah. That's like you're out here trying to be like Kobe your first day of trying to like learn how to dribble and get the basics down. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, it doesn't have to be good. Get it done. Then you can make it good.
I also feel seen and called out. So thanks, Chaz, for that. Oh man, no, I love this topic. I feel like we've done this before on our other podcasts, and so I'm really glad you're able to come through and share wisdom on this.
Yeah, look, it's great when you have dumb people who have to learn something hard.
Yeah,
a dumb person is gonna figure out the easiest way to do something hard.
Man, so I need to just have. Chaz says dumb people, but again, one of the smarter people I know in life.
Like you see those people who go like, "Oh, work smarter, not harder." Like those, I'm that guy. I go like, I'm gonna do all this.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna spend months writing this thing. That's a long time.
Yeah.
I go, well, what's the basics of this? What do I need? How much information do I need to get this script done?
And still doing it like well.
And well with good quality.
Yeah.
Right, and then you can take notes because then if you're gonna sell it, someone's gonna have notes and changes anyways.
Right.
If I'm doing it myself and I'm gonna produce it, that's a different topic.
Right.
Right now we're talking about I want to make my masterpiece, my baby. Different topic.
Yeah.
Then you can spend a lot more time with it. You can spend a lot more things with that, right?
Right.
But I'll go like, yeah, it didn't take me. I saw the movie I wrote in 3 days. I wrote it in 3 days. I wrote it in 3 days, crazy. And it's supposed to come out I think it's supposed to shoot it in August.
That's so dope, Chaz.
It wasn't something that I sat down and was like, oh, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out.
I have a friend who probably come on here who just like started a writer's fellowship. Mm-hmm. The fellowship that she got in, and she's in a writer's room now, but the fellowship that she got in, she was like, I realized I only had 2 weeks to write this script. Yeah. And she wrote it, and then she got in the program. And it was just like, but she was like, they told me to write what I know, and I wrote what I knew. And she was like, and that was the difference from the other years that she applied.
And I go like, there are so many versions of you, because people be like, oh, I don't know what to write. I go like, there's so many versions of you being, I can write about when I'm 7, I can write about a story when I'm 12.
Yeah.
I can write a story about when I'm 20 and homeless. I can write a story about right now being a dad, right?
Yeah.
I go like, there's so many different stories in your body that you have. My parents were different from now to being 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to mix and match with people you know. There's no way you don't have stories.
Yeah.
There's no way you don't have conflict.
Yeah.
Like, you never been through shit. You never felt a certain way when somebody passed away or when your friend said something.
Yeah.
I go like, this is impossible. I just go like, you don't know how to focus, right? Or it can be daunting. I go like, getting through those pages, that's intimidating.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's way more about that than actually writing. Because sitting here doing this is mind-numbing. That's the part I hate most. This actual click part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I be in there like, yo, I didn't do this. I'm writing an essay. That's how I feel. I didn't get into this to do essays. That's why I told jokes.
That's what we're doing. But no, I definitely think this is hopefully has been valuable to a lot of people.
Hopefully.
Because hopefully we'll do it again.
Yeah.
Have more conversations when people leave more questions for us. So make sure you leave your questions below. But one of the things that I like to do is do some takeaways from what our conversation was.
Right.
So we have 5 takeaways.
Rooibos tea is amazing and delicious.
I don't think that made
that wasn't the takeaway cut.
That wasn't on the takeaway.
That was the first important thing we talked about was the health benefits. It takes away cortisol, so stress reliever.
But yes, that's a bonus tip.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's all about you, Rooibos.
One of the things you said, first of all, it's all about the story. Know your character's main journey and keep asking why. Takeaway number 2, study other writers' scripts. The Writers Guild is a great resource. And I'll add to that, you said like you found the script on Twitter. Mm-hmm. There's great websites that you can come across and find scripts. If you're in part of a writer's group, just hit people up and just be like, hey, anybody got this script? Somebody will have that script. What's the
girl's name? Is her name Misha Green, the girl who did?
Mm-hmm. She put her script out, for Lovecraft Country,
Put them all out.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Downloaded them all.
Yep, me too. It's easy to find.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're not in LA
follow
or New
writers,
York,
stalk writers, stalk these people, executive producers, follow and stalk all these people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you'll find yourself learning more on your social media versus just being entertained.
Yeah, man.
Once you do that. Number 3, be yourself in the writer's room is why they hired you. That's
a great. I'm gonna high five myself. That's an easy, great tip right there. That's the truth.
Number 4, save money before you move to LA. Number 5, before you give up on your dream, ask yourself if you did your best. And our bonus tip, your first draft just has to be done. It doesn't have to be good.
Yeah, man.
Love that. Well, thank you, Chaz.
Man, thank you. I had a great time.
Always
and
feel like I learned a lot. Great time and great tea.
Come on.
Yeah, man. So until next time, make sure you like, subscribe. We're everywhere where you listen to podcasts, so you can listen absolutely any and everywhere. So make sure you listen and subscribe on those platforms.
People BS. I couldn't find you. Yeah, you found.
You could find it. Copy that. You see me.
You knew where I was.
Literally everywhere. I promise you. So until next time, have a good week.